Hey there guys, I'm Will and welcome to FP1, and today it's the second car launch of the day in the Racing Point Formula 1 team. Not the Force India Formula 1 team. We'll see how many times I mess that name up today. So with this comes the reveal of a brand new livery and a brand new title sponsor. So when I say brand new, I mean BWT have been on the team's car for a good 2 or 3 years now. But now they are their title sponsor. Sport Pazer have gone. So gone is that almost sapphire blue, which did look quite nice on the car last year. In regards to the livery itself, I've never been a massive fan of these pink liveries since they were introduced. I think it was 2017. But I guess as a Force India, there you go, as a Racing Point livery, it's not so bad. I think it's probably the nicest iteration of this pink livery that we've seen. So I'll take it. Why not? However, from an aerodynamic standpoint, I am really struggling. I'm just having a look. I'm trying to find things that are new, and it does look very much like the 2019 car. There are a few little adaptations, but this very much to me feels like a launch car, and by the time we get to Australia this will look completely different. Anyway then, let's analyse this car in detail, starting with the front wing, and this is very similar to what Williams came up with earlier today. In that they've kind of gone for this, not a really low front wing, and by low I mean I'm talking about the actual elements themselves and where they attach onto the end plate. So not quite the Ferrari-esque design where they're really quite low down to try and maximise that outwash and push air to the outside of those tyre faces. But at the same time, it's not ridiculously high, so they've kind of stuck in the middle. Quite a nice conservative design, maybe trying to get a bit of a compromise between that outwash, but also pushing air up above the tyres and maybe towards some of the suspension and bargeboard parts as well. Very similar to what they did last year, same number of elements as well. Obviously, they've got their nose cone itself, and the way they've actually attached the nose cone to the car has this almost gilled section. So the images that I'm going to put up on the screen now is actually from the leaked images which came out I think on Friday. I was going to make a video, but I thought these images aren't particularly good quality, but it's the only actual proper view of it, so I'm going to try and zoom in anyway, so I apologise for the quality here guys. But as you can see, they've kind of got these gills, and it's something that McLaren started back in, I think it was 2017 or 2018, so quite a far way back. Toro Rosso then took them on board before they turned obviously into AlphaTauri, but they've kind of got rid of them now, I think, and now Racing Point have almost adapted this design ideology as well and taking it forward. So what are these for? As a guess, it's to try and push air into that S-duct. And you can see Racing Point have got an S-duct almost in between those kind of L-shaped fins just below the number 18 on this front view that we're seeing now. So what the S-duct is, I have explained in a few of these other videos before, so you can check those out, but I'll explain it again. It's basically an S-shaped almost piping that takes air from underneath the car and spits out just ahead of the driver. It allows a nice smooth flow over the back end and rear faces of the car, and you can obviously then direct air how you want to, really. The other thing these fins could be doing is almost going the other way and pushing air again towards that bargeboard section. Speaking of the bargeboards, they look fairly similar again. There's a bit more development from last year. We've got a few more uprights. It's quite hard to see. Like, the images that Racing Point have given us are really, really good quality, but the actual views and angles that we're getting make it quite hard to see these new innovations on the car. But from what I can see, almost at the start of the floor, as you move into the bargeboard, you've got a few more vertical pieces that stick up, trying to push the air out around the side of the side pods and the intakes, and maybe try to get air into the intakes as well to help with cooling. So yeah, it looks a little bit more complicated on that front. I think we'll have to wait until we see the car on track before we can properly analyse what's changed really in that area. Side pods and wing mirrors look very, very similar. In fact, the wing mirrors are basically identical to what we have on last year's car. The side pods look a little bit smaller, but not by a massive amount, and we have seen a lot of teams doing that this year, having a lot smaller air intakes in the side pods. The top airbox intake, again, is very, very similar, split into 3 sections. Now, what has changed, there's 2 little things. You've got this almost, I can't even describe it. You've got like a fin right on top of the airbox, so just behind the camera mounting, you can see it. Again, this will be trying to push air towards the rear wing of the car and trying to maximise the performance gain from that rear wing. The other thing, if we look at the side-on view, you can see we've got these 2 other really small kind of holes and intakes just past the main airbox intake. Now, it's something that I think Ferrari might have started back all the way back in like 2010, maybe in 2009, maybe even before that. I'll try and get an image of that car up, and you can see what I mean. These are a little bit more hidden on the Racing Point, so Maybe just trying to get that little bit of extra cooling. And I imagine we haven't got a top-down view, but I imagine there'll be some kind of cooling vents as well just behind where the halo is. Now, the whole rear of the car looks almost identical to last year, to the point where I genuinely feel that they've taken last year's rear wing and chucked it on the car. So I do want to wait until testing and maybe do another video on this car, because it does very much seem like a livery reveal rather than a launch reveal. I mean, you still got that one swan neck attaching it to the main body of the car, to the rear wing. Very, very similar rear wing structure. The same, the cutouts, quite simple, but it's also what we saw at the end of last year. So yeah, a bit of a shame with this one. Not too much to talk about. The floor we can't really see again from the images that we have. But again, it does look very, very basic. And I do feel that they've hidden quite a lot of these, of the main innovations of this car, you know. I guess we won't see them until testing. But yeah, it's a big surprise. And I think if this car is what runs in testing, I'll be even more surprised, given the amount of money that's been injected into this team. I was kind of expecting a little bit more from them. But hey, this, again, it's just a launch. We'll have to wait and see if we get some more innovations as we go forward into testing. But yeah, they were just my thoughts then. Let me know, of course, down in the comments below what you guys think of the new Racing Point car. And I might see you later for the Renault reveal. I'm not too sure whether they're going to launch that car yet. It has been on track, and there is one image of it, of the new nose cone, and it looks gorgeous. But I might wait till tomorrow we get some better images of that so I can actually go through and actually analyze and break down what new features they've added to that car. But yeah, I will see you guys then. Have a lovely rest of your day, guys.